Hello, and welcome to our program, Where God Weeps, a program where we talk about the situation of the suffering church around the world. Today we're going to be considering the country of India. India is the world's second most populous nation with over 1.2 billion, of which Catholics make up only 2%. To tell us more about the situation of Catholics in India, it is my great privilege to welcome Bishop Jose Chittooparambil, the Bishop of the Rajkot Diocese in northwestern India. Welcome, Your Excellency, and thank you for being with us here today in our program.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be with you.
Your Excellency, your Diocese of Rajkot is on the northwestern coast of India, but this is not where you are from. You are from further south.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, Kerala is very much a stronghold for the Catholic faith. Were you raised in a traditionally Catholic family?
Yeah, as you know, Kerala, we have got the faith from St. Thomas the Apostle. In the year 52, St. Thomas came to India. And from that time onwards, Christians are there. But still, it's a minority in India, only 2.4% of the all Christians, and 1.6 maybe the Catholics. I was born in a very traditional Catholic family, in which we are 9 members, 3 sons and 6 daughters, means 3 brothers, and in which I am the third one. So, from the very early age, we are born and brought up in a very traditional Catholic way.
When did you first have your experience of God? When did you know that God was real?
Yeah, my parish is belonging to the Carmelites of Mary Immaculate, an indigenous congregation of the religious. They are running the parish, so from the very early age, I used to go to the church. I was an altar boy. Then the priest promoted me, and I liked to become one like that priest. So after my matriculation, I joined in the Carmelite congregation, and later then I was when we got a mission in Gujarat, I opted for that mission, and then I became a missionary. I got ordained in 1985 as a priest. So later, most of my time I was in the Diocese of Rajkot, working in the grassroots level.
So you first went to Rajkot, now you are the Bishop of the Diocese of Rajkot, but you first went as a missionary because the Catholics are so few there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the situation of Catholics in the Diocese of Rajkot?
Yeah, in the Diocese of Rajkot, we have 15 million people, of which only 13,000 are the Catholics.
It's tiny majority.
Yeah, it's a microscopic minority.
Yes.
It's a negligible number, 0.0, not even 0.01%, less than that. So we are people negligible in that way. But our influence in the society is not like that. Because of our Catholic institutions, especially our schools, our hospitals or dispensaries, then the social work activities in which we are engaged.
I want to come back to all of these topics later, so I won't want to touch them too much now. But I do want to ask you, you went in as a missionary, as you say, to work on the grassroots level, but then you were called to be a bishop.
Yeah.
Was this a shock for you?
Actually, I was the provincial provincial superior before I was appointed the bishop. So I was working in the diocese, even though I am a religious, I was working because this diocese was entrusted to the religious. So I was working as a missionary from the very grassroots level without even bare minimum facilities. I was, first of all, after my ordination, I was sent to a very remote village where I was living in a hut without even a toilet. So in hard situations we were born, and I was the diocesan director of social work for 14 long years. before I was appointed.
I want to go back one step. You were saying you were living in a hut in a very simple environment. You would have been surrounded by Hindu or Muslim. What would have been the population around you?
95% of that population were Hindus, and the rest Muslims, and there was not even a Christian, not even a Catholic or a Christian in the village where I was sent.
So you were really sent into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So nobody was there. Then slowly we started some. Then later 3 sisters, nuns, also came to that area. Then we started some social work activities, dispensary, which was useful. Then the kindergarten school for the children. Slowly the people started, and they liked me. And when I was transferred, they were against my going from
leaving
the village.
away.
Yeah. They said, we want to make you the village president, the president of the village. So such was the liking of the people.
And conversion, there
was no conversion at that time. So it was, but we used to preach about the Christ. We used to celebrate Christmas with them. Their own children used to appear or act as Saint Joseph, child Jesus, like that. So they used to do all these kind of activities in which we transfer the Christ message, and especially the Christian themes we used to put up as dramas and other things of the sort.
What was the best you could hope for? In a certain way, you were there in the middle of a Hindu environment. Would Jesus then have been accepted as one of many other gods that the Hindu would then worship? Or how did they accept the Christian message?
There is no problem for the Hindus to accept Christ. They all are ready to accept Christ as one among the gods. But the moment you say that he is the only God or only Savior,
then it's a problem.
Then comes the problem. Otherwise, there is no problem. So quite often we see that kind of an awareness should come later. So firstly, we say about Christ, they accept, they pray to Christ, they used to come, and that is the way we used to preach and even speak to people when the evening they came, free time. We used to speak them about Christ and his message. So later only I became a bishop. When I was called to the Vatican Embassy in Delhi, told me that the Holy Father has appointed you as a bishop.
Did you have any time to discern and to decide?
Yeah, they have given me some time to pray and to decide. Then the thoughts which came to my mind is that after all, it's God's choice. It's not a human choice. It's God who has chosen me. Then the thought of, again the idea that it is the faith of the church in me. After 2 years of looking for a new bishop, they have selected me. So I thought that it's again the church's acceptance. And thirdly, I thought that I was in the social work field doing service, and authority in church is more service. So God may be calling me to do more service than what I am doing, to wash the feet of many more people than that I was doing.
What is your Episcopal motto? Is this also in the line, and why did you choose this particular motto?
Yeah, my motto which I have taken is to have life and have it in abundance. John 10:10, which I have taken because it is where Jesus speaks about the good shepherd who lays down his life for the many. So in the background of my social work, I thought integral liberation, the total liberation of the people is what matters. So to have life and have it in abundance. In the present situation when life itself is in a way challenged and people, a lot of abortions and all kind of problems with life, I thought Jesus said, I have come so that they may have life and have it in abundance or fullness. So this fullness of life, that is what we have to give. Not only one spiritual or not only the material or intellectual. So it should be an integral or a total liberation of the people. That's why I have taken that motto.
The Catholics in your diocese, as we mentioned, is a 0.01%, which is effectively, I think, 13,000 people.
Yeah.
Which is, as we spoke, a tiny minority. What and how can you encourage this tiny minority in face of this overwhelming Hindu and I suppose Muslim presence?
In my diocese, we have 65 schools, some 50 social work centers, about 25 to 30 dispensaries, and 1 or 2 small hospitals. So through this, we are giving our service to the people. And the people who know us, they accept us in very well. And also the credibility of the church that they accept. They think these people are true to themselves. Whatever we do, and even they sometimes donate or something, they see that these people, whatever they give, it will go to the beneficiary or the people at the large. So they are in a way, they have a good opinion about the Christians. Even though we are 0.01, the influence in the society may be much more, even maybe more than 5% of the society, or even more than that is influenced by our, even though we are negligible number.
Which is extraordinary. In terms of the number, the services that you provide is wonderful. Can you say that the microcosm of what you lived in the village, you alone with 3 sisters serving the village, is now reproduced in a larger sense in Rajkot? That is very, very small, but faithful, strong, faithful population serving through these social services.
Yeah, what we are aiming is the primary motive, or when I have taken the motto, then the objectives which in order to fulfill that, what I have taken is mainly to spread the Christian message to the maximum area and people possible through our personnel, through our institutions, and through our activities. So we are spreading too, because the aim is whenever people come to know us and our service, they understand, and that all kinds of misconceptions and wrong propagandas about Christians will go. And they see that these people can be trusted, they are faithful, they are serviceable. And we want to show that compassionate love of God to them through our service and through our people.
Your Excellency, you mentioned compassion, you also mentioned laying down your life. Gujarat, it's an area which touches on your diocese, was the scene of some very violent demonstrations in 2002, not between Christians and Hindus or Muslims, but between Hindus and Muslims, where approximately 700 people were killed. What is the situation now, and why was Gujarat the scene of such violent demonstration between Muslims and Hindus?
When we speak about, or when we think about that incident of 2002, we are very sad, because it is a blot in the Indian democracy and the secularism of our country. It's a matter of shame. And Gujarat is the state of Mahatma Gandhi, who was the apostle of non-violence. And that country, that state, turned into a kind of a battlefield among the Hindus and Muslims. So it was very sad. And it's not 700, about 2,000 Muslims were killed, mostly Muslims. Few Hindus also were. It is mainly with the idea of political polarization in order to be in power. So it is most of the Hindus, even 95 or more than that percent of the Hindus are very good people. They are very loving people. And but these are for few people who made it in such a way.
The fundamentalist
groups, in order to be in power. Say there is a polarization between the Hindus and Muslims. So Hindus now always think that it should be Hindus who should be there, otherwise the Muslims will attack us. So the other way also. So it is for polarization and purely political motive behind. So to be in power, they have done it.
So religion was simply instrumentalized for political interest.
Yes.
But what is the situation today? Is it calm? Are the memories still fresh? How is it today?
In 2001, we were affected. Gujarat was very highly affected by the killer earthquake, in which my diocese, especially the Kutch district, out of the 8 districts, 1 district was completely damaged. Not even a house stood there. So such a calamity was there, and the next year we had this calamity. One is the natural calamity, this is man-made calamity. So we were very sad, but now this situation, after that there was no much problem, because it went against the political leadership. It said that this is actually people cannot accept this. But at the same time, even though in the national level it is not accepted, in the state level people are for it. People still, after 2 elections, they elected the same people, because they think that if the leadership goes, the people may attack us. So there is a lot of suspicion between the Hindus and the Muslims, in which earlier we had some attack in another part of Gujarat against the Christians.
Yes, I was going to ask you, where does the Christian fall into this situation?
Yeah, Christians were not in my diocese. It was an attack in the Baroda diocese, another diocese, where the Christians were also attacked during the Christmas time. That also by these Hindu fundamentalist groups. But because of the wider propaganda and all, it did not. Then it turned into Muslims later. But as I said, it's nothing to do with the Hinduism or Hindu people. It is few fundamentalist people who are doing this. And now our role is when the Muslims were attacked, we were giving shelter to them, and we were doing whatever possible way of helping them. But now in the villages, it was very cordial relationship between Hindus and Muslims. Where I was started, that time the village, there was Muslims. But now the people are looking the other with suspicion. So whether these people, my own neighbor will attack me.
The trust is lost.
Trust is lost. So we are trying to rebuild that trust among the people. So communal harmony and this inter-religious dialogue is one of the elements which we have taken up, and we are doing wherever we are going. We see that inter-religious dialogue is taking place.
So Christians in this situation are working as a mediator, if you would, between the Hindu and the Muslim.
Yeah, that's what we are doing now. So mainly in the areas where there is very sensitive areas where we are doing.
And you are well received by both.
Yeah, in that case there is no problem for us.
You are a neutral partner.
Yeah. So we don't have. But as such, the people are very friendly. But only thing is that suspicion is still there, because quite often it may not be that people instigation come from outside and they may
whip up the problem.
Whip up the problem. So that's why
Pope Benedict XVI, in speaking to Cardinal Gracias, spoke exactly about this question of interreligious dialogue.
Yeah.
How do you personally work with the Hindu and the Muslim clerics, the imams, to bring together and to sit down around a table? Is this something that is part of your day-to-day?
No, after these communal tensions and the problems, we had met, all the religious leaders met together and we spoke about these things. Now, more than the higher levels, we are seeing in every village, every town where we are having, we are setting up a group of people who can be if any problems comes, can be control the people. So that is the way we are. From the grassroots, instead of going from the higher level to the down, we are starting from the lower level to the higher levels. That's what we are planning.
I want to touch on one question because, of course, your diocese borders Pakistan.
Yeah.
So this question is very sensitive because of the larger geopolitical context in which you find yourself.
Yeah.
Do you also find, you spoke about external influences, would there be external influences in the Muslim community from Pakistan, or is it more of an internal problem between Indian Hindu and Indian Muslims?
Yeah, there is influence of, because the Jammu Kashmir, the border state, and ours also is a border state. So the thing is that even the Indian occupied Kashmir or Indian Kashmir and the other side also, there are few fundamentalists among the Muslims also who instigate saying that we have to be in the religious level, we have to come. So these kind of things are instigated from the Muslims also. So there is a fact in that. So that also sometimes, but as an ordinary people, they are not very much concerned about the things. But once the problem comes, all of them join in the religious way. So that is what happening. So in the other way, it is mainly people are good. But the thing is that this kind of instigations and the border, sometimes infiltration comes from Pakistan to India. So military actions are there. But we are not very much affected by those things.
You mentioned your pastoral priorities, you mentioned healthcare, you mentioned schools, you mentioned clinics. If you had to choose, where would you put the weight or the emphasis of your social services, your pastoral care?
No, the emphasis is not neither social work or education my main concern pastoral priority is evangelization, where we want to speak about not the conversion as I, But we want to spread the good news of Christ to the maximum area possible, as I said, through our personal, through our activities, through our institutions and all. That's our priority. The other are means for it. So it's not the end.
Okay.
End is see that they are a well accepted Christ and his message. That's why we are missionaries there. So that is my priority, in which we take up these social work activities in a big way. We are having government projects. We are having so many projects by the funding agencies from the West, from America, from Germany. So these people's projects we are implementing. We are the institution, for example, Diocese of Rajkot is looking after more HIV/AIDS people than the other agencies in the state of Gujarat. We are catering more than 5,000 HIV positive people. So these all through the government projects, through the other projects from the funding agencies, then the local contributions and other things. So we are doing a lot of social work activities. We have so many schools in which well sought after by the other people, especially the Hindus.
Yeah.
These people are studying in our, and they like it.
Over 90%, or if I understand correctly, 90% of your students in your schools are Hindu.
99% we can say. I mean, from the other religion. Maybe 95% maybe Hindus, some 3-4% maybe Muslims, and even 1%, not even 1%, I think, as you take the whole, the Christians studying.
But in the context of you mentioned evangelization as being the core.
Yeah.
And that's as it, the next step though is, do the Hindus or the Muslims that come to the Catholic schools, if they accept that it's a Catholic curriculum, is there a fear of conversion, or is there a fear of overt evangelization of their young people? Or they say, look, the education is so good and we fight to get our children in there that even if they are educated in a Christian way, we accept. How does that work?
So even though there is a propaganda, these people are for conversion, but always there is a heavy rush for admissions in our schools. And especially the people who are this kind of high ranking people, they want to have admission for their children in our schools. They are well accepted and they know so many years we are working, no conversions as such. Even though there are few people who accept Christianity, even though we had some 30-35 people recently accepted Christianity, and because of the anti-conversion law, we cannot baptize them. So they had to go to another state and get baptized and come. So because of the anti-conversion law existing in the state of Gujarat.
You have anti-conversion law in your state as well?
Yeah.
And
so we cannot convert to anybody.
This officially means if you were caught converting, you could be kicked out.
Yeah, I will be arrested and put in prison. So anybody who baptizes, or the baptized person who performs the baptism, can be put into prison unless you get the permission from the district authorities, the highest authorities.
So any young person or who wishes to become a Christian or a Catholic, you have to send them somewhere else.
Yeah, that is what we are now trying. You go and get converted somewhere else and come, because you cannot, if you are so few of our Christians are, the catechumens are sent to other places where they get baptized. That's very rare, but still it happens. We accept them, and we are doing this kind of, after seeing our activities, and because of this, they are ill-treated in their own religion, especially the backward classes and backward castes.
Do you have caste system in your area?
Yeah, very much. It is a highly caste society in which mainly the people from the lower caste, they come to Christianity because they are not permitted to enter in their own temples, while they can come to our church. And I think in my cathedral more Hindus come than the Christians.
More Hindus come to pray?
To pray than the Christians. Many people are coming to our church to pray. It means the cathedral church, which is called Prem Mandir, Love Temple. So more or less it is called like that.
I wanted to come back quickly on one topic which you mentioned about education and the backward treatment. What would be, if your schools didn't exist, what would be the future, for example, for some poor Hindu girls? Yeah,
so what we are promoting education to the lower caste people, especially the poor and the downtrodden people through our, we bring them to our own, we have boarding houses where we bring these poor children, we keep them, we educate them and send them back to their villages, so that it means education as a means for social transformation. So that is the way we see. And many people are We are sponsoring many for their education. Many people are finding comforts in our own dispensaries or health centers. So a lot of these kind of things are really helping the poor.
Do you see already the fruits of this strategy of reconciliation between peoples through education?
Yeah, surely. We see that we run these schools as a means for social transformation. As I said, the children who come out of our schools should turn into be the agents of social transformation. And we see in Rajkot itself, there are future people who have gone out of our schools. They are having now an NGO which they themselves help to the poor children. And also in the villages, we see that good educated children, now they are promoting education for their own children. So it is in...
It has a snowball effect.
Yeah, so we have a lot of effects coming and we are very happy about what we are doing.
Your Excellency, what would you say, what would your appeal be for those who are with us today on our program?
You see, we have no resources of our own. We are completely dependent on the resources from outside. As you said, we don't have Catholics to support, and that also very poor Catholics. So we don't have any income of our own. In order to accelerate our activities, of course, to the extent we get the resources, to that extent we can serve the people, and thus we can show to them, evangelize, or really materially we show that this is what Christ's love for them, and God's love will be transmitted through our activities. That's what we are doing.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for having been with us today in our program.
Thanks a lot for giving me a chance to express my sentiments and the feeling of a missionary church, what we expect and why we are doing this kind of things. It's a good thing for us to express to yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us today on Where God Weeps. And if you'd like to know more about how you might be able to help Bishop Jose in his work, I would encourage you to look at the contact information at the end of this program. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.